Handling adversity is something that we all do in life. We do it when we're children. The worst thing in the world is when we don't get our way. So what do we do until dad, gets us straight as we show out? And that happens in adulthood as well. And how you handle adversity, especially in a selling situation, is really a life skill. And it's something you learn through parenting. You learn it through your relationship with your significant other. You learn it in just dealing with general people. And if you're not able to handle adversity, you're going to have a hard time in life. It's iron is, heat and pressure make steel. And that's basically the way I look at adversity. It's just making me better. If I've got a roadblock, if it was easy, it wouldn't be much fun, because at some point you're going to get bored. So if you're tasked with something that you're having difficulty with, view it as a learning experience, because that's exactly what it is. Another thing in dealing with your colleagues, especially, is understanding where they're at. I've got a colleague who's a school teacher, and she's about half my age one of my daughters. I've got 4 daughters, one of every age group, it seems like. But being a school teacher in her first career, she has to understand why we are doing something. When the company comes up with a new product we're going to sell or a new service we're going to offer, and that way, that helps you understand where she's coming from to better communicate it to her. Here's why we're doing this, and here's the steps why. Because she's very organized. My sister was a school teacher. My ex-wife was a school teacher. I understand. My youngest daughter is now a school teacher. I understand how they think. So it's very helpful to understand how the other person thinks when you communicate with them. If they're a process-oriented individual, like an engineer or an accountant, you definitely want to give them the details. They are not skimmers. These people want to know why. And it may be a leave-behind piece you leave. It may be a specification. But that kind of sells to a person that's a process-oriented. You have to make sure they understand what they're buying and why they're buying it and why it's a benefit to them. And typically these people are a little bit price buyers, but they're more interested in the details. So knowing where people are coming from is a big way to help get through to them and how to communicate with them. And in general, dealing with difficult people, we're all so easy to deal with. I'm sure everyone thinks that you're the greatest and everyone wants to see you. And then you go start making phone calls and emails and texts, and you figure out you really aren't that hot. Your stuff does stink. You're not the first person that they're thinking about calling the next morning. Oh, I got to call that person back. I want to see them so bad. What do they have to sell me? But it is an humbling experience if you've never dealt with it before. But 35 years of doing it, it rolls off my back, and I just found another way to go get to that person. If there's someone on LinkedIn, there's so many more ways to connect with people now through technology. If there's someone that's connected to them that doesn't hurt to reach out to that individual and see if you can get a soft intro or at least a name drop and say, I see you're connected with so-and-so. You want to make sure those people are on good terms, first of all, but if they are, then, and they give you the green light, of course, always get the other person's permission. Go forward with that as an avenue to get that person to return the phone call and maybe even get you a face-to-face appointment. Little things like that. You've got so many avenues now you can use through technology to overcome obstacles. But really the message of this little talk was about how to overcome adversity, how to deal with difficult people. And some people are difficult because no one really communicates with them on their level. Some people just want to know why. And if you give them the why, they're fine. The door comes down. Simon Sinek wrote a great few books about that, finding your why, understanding your why. He's a Canadian, he's a dual citizen of the U.S. and Canada, and a real good communicator. And he's probably over 40 now. When he started, he was in his 20s. And I always was impressed with how he communicated. And you take that where someone else is at and try to shift your style to them, you'll get ears that are a lot more open than they are if you don't. That's all I've got.